Hello and welcome to Knit, Design, Edit, Sleep, Repeat with Lisa Conway, Denise Finley, and Tiffany Wooten. Let's listen in and see what's happening, who's happening, and what's new in their world.
Welcome. Today, Tiffany and Denise talk with Sarah Larrieu of No Hooks Given. Sarah, I'm sorry if I've continued to pronounce your name wrong.
Well, good morning, Miss Sparkle Coordinator. How are you today?
I'm pretty good, Tiffany. How about you?
I'm here. We had some rain recently, and I forgot how much I love the smell of rain.
Yes.
And once rain comes through, I opened up the door to let the dogs out. I didn't realize it was getting ready to storm, and I opened up the door, and I was just like, it hit me in the face, and I was like, rain is coming, and
Yes.
I forgot how much I love that smell.
And as our guest, who will be introduced soon, might tell us that it's wonderful. It's cooled off here. It's not 100 and something anymore. We're much more happier. I am, at least.
I mean, it's still high 90s for us, but we're not triple digits, so
Yeah,
that makes
that's
me happy.
always a good
Between
thing.
the rain and not triple digits, I'm taking it for the win.
Exactly. So who do we have today, Tiffany?
So today we have Miss Sarah from No Hooks Given over on Instagram, and her handle that she travels everywhere with. She is a designer who I tested for. I was trying to do the math, Sarah. I think it's been, 2.5 years, maybe 3, that I tested for her. I made a top and made some earrings to match, and we've been
Cool.
chatting ever since. And I did some pattern moderation for her last summer too. So,
And what kind of tops are they?
My top was a crop top. She's got a lot of curly cute tops all together.
Cool.
They are crochet tops.
Okay.
So she is a size inclusive crochet designer who has specialty pom-poms in her Etsy shop. Y'all need to check these out because they're really gorgeous, and she's got a lot of really cool stuff. Like I freak out every time she posts a new color because they're all so pretty and they're fluffy.
I love palms if they're fluffy. Mine look sad. Mine are just sad.
Well, hers are the fur palms,
Yeah.
and they're just so fluffy and pretty, and I just want to pet them. And y'all know me, I'm crazy. So, anyways, but her Etsy shop's got a lot of pom poms in there, and then she's also got some collaborations in there with some woodworkers and a leather maker, and she's got some beautiful leather pieces in there.
I can't wait to see them.
So, welcome to the Chaos Train, Sarah.
That's right. That's right.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me on.
Your guest seatbelt should be somewhere around your lap, so if you want to buckle up, we can, hopefully this will be a mellow ride today.
Good for you.
Exactly. So, anyways. All right. I think Miss Denise is going to kick us off with the first question.
Well, one of the things that we like to talk to our designers about is how they got started. Tell us your design story, okay? And then when you tell us all that, then tell us the reasons why you started designing.
So my design story is that when I was taught how to crochet, my mom really only taught me how to do single crochet. That was it. Chain and single crochet. That was my jam for a while. But once I started to delve into more stitches, I had a hard time reading patterns, so I just free formed a lot of the time. And that was how I, learned how to do things like I did cardigans freeform and hats.
Look at you.
That's
Stuffed
amazing.
animals, purses, or really anything. And once, I started to learn how to read a pattern, I was like, well, I can do this too, because I have people ask me about my patterns, and I love math. So I
Good for you, because I hate it. No.
The math gets everybody, man. The math is just, it bites everybody.
So once I realized that, I liked writing patterns, and I had, people wanting to test the patterns for me, it really helped me feel like I was part of a community, and I really enjoyed meeting other crocheters and knitters, because I didn't have any friends that liked that type of stuff growing up. So once I was able to meet other people And I started meeting people locally too from pattern testing. It
Oh,
really
cool.
helped my feelings of, I really like to do this because
I
community.
don't know
Meeting
if
yarn
this
friends
is.
and
Oh,
meeting yarn friends in life is just so much fun.
It
Like you
is.
actually get to see them, and it's like you really are real. Like you're. I'm not a crazy person. You're not
you're
in my
right.
imagination.
That's what you feel like when you walk into a knit night somewhere. Wow, other people do this.
You know. That's
Just
funny.
Sarah, real quick, it's not on here, but you'll probably remember. What was your very first design?
My
Freeform you were talking about.
very first design, like freeform, is when I was like, I want to say about like 18, so this was about like 12 years ago. I really enjoyed making purses and crocheting like applications to go on them.
Yeah.
Nice.
A
I
little
made like,
bling, a little fun. Yeah.
yeah, I made like a mushroom bag, like crocheted mushrooms to go on the bag. So
Oh,
it
how
really
cool
was.
is that?
Oh, I bet that was really cute.
So
I'm just
cute.
in awe that you like freeformed a whole cardigan because like
Yeah.
I can look at them and I'm like, wow, that's really cool, but I can't do that like
I
at all.
have them posted. They are one of my first Instagram posts. So if you
Oh,
manage
good.
to
I'm gonna have to
scroll
go find
Me
that
too. Me
now.
too.
all the
Yeah.
way
Okay.
down, you'll find 2 cardigans with pockets in
That's
I'm gonna have
buttons.
to go find those now because
So you
I thought I had
basically.
scrolled your whole profile over the years.
So basically, you just started designing because you really enjoyed the craft.
I did. I enjoyed playing with the stitches and being able to create something and to wear it or gift it to someone else.
Yeah.
It was just a cool thing that I didn't know that you can do. And seeing, I think one of my first jobs was like as a kid, not the very first, but I was like in there. I did work a little bit at a local yarn shop.
Mm,
And so that was kind of
Cool.
cool.
Yeah.
People like
Lots of
yarn.
influence there.
Yes.
all the squishing
The
and the
vibes,
touching
and they
and
just
the
come and get you.
Yeah. It's
That's
cool
cool.
if
Very cool.
people like yarn will read your pattern and make it. It's a
Mhm.
cool feeling.
It is.
That's
It
really cool.
is. Tiffany?
So who do you stitch for when you design? Like what
Sorry.
like who do you like when you it's actually a two-part question, I guess. It really should be a two-part question. So two-part question. Who do you stitch for? And then who do you design for? Does that make sense?
Yes.
I think I'm talking in circles today. So y'all, the crazy train is here today. I'm
It's
talking
okay.
in circles. So buckle up. Here we go.
If I stitch for like making for a person or making for like finished items, I
Mhm.
prefer to knit and then crochet. Depends on the project.
Okay.
But if I design for it, I really do just crochet. I've done a
Okay.
few knit patterns, but I just find that my niche is more crochet,
Yeah.
and I feel more experienced in it too because I've been crocheting way longer
Mm.
than knitting. Like I self-taught.
Yeah, because you're like me. You just started knitting this last year, right?
About 6 years ago.
Oh,
I
okay.
want
So
to
you've been
say.
doing it a little longer than me.
Tiffany's a baby knitter.
Tiffany is still a baby, but you know what? I finally did it. Okay, I admit it.
So
It's
you're
fun.
bi-craftual. That's what we call bi-stitchual.
Yes.
Me too.
I love knitting like super bulky hats or a garment. It can be really fun too from other makers. Like I'll make
Yeah.
I love following other people's knit patterns.
Cool.
But designing my own crochet patterns.
So, what who is your target audience when you actually write patterns?
Definitely I would say people in from their 20s to their 60s because
Okay.
I try to make clothing that can be worn throughout like the years. Like you're not going to feel like um, this isn't for your body type or your age.
So less trendy, more classic.
Yes.
She's got a lot of really classic pieces. Like the
Oh,
one
I'll be
top
all
that
over
I
that.
look, the one top that I moderated for her for last summer, and I still have that in my queue. I haven't found the perfect yarn for it yet, but she what was it? It was the super flirty sleeve or
The flirty V.
They're flirty V. There we go. The flirty V.
Oh.
And it's a very detailed lacy sleeve detail that once you split, the sleeve is done. It is so pretty. You would actually really like it, Denise.
It's a top down, and then once you join for the V-neck, you keep going. So once you get done with the top, you're done with the top. Like you're done with the sleeve.
Yeah, there's
that
no
works for
warning
me.
for the sleeve. It's nothing. It's just a real pretty, loose, flirty sleeve.
Cool.
So pretty.
And
But
the
yeah,
body's just double crochet too, so it just goes
there you go.
really fast.
Right through there.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting technique.
And the really great part about a lot of her patterns, y'all, is that you can, if you work outside of the home in an office setting, her patterns are great for the office too. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
Good to know. Good to
wearing them outside of work and trying to find my line where, okay, I'm dying from feet, but I need something to wear. Yeah. Anyways, her crop top works great for that. I'm just saying. I may have worn it like 3 times in this month because I was roasting.
Yeah. Good to know.
It's a thing. It's a thing. Like triple digits do that.
Yeah, we don't like it here.
Yeah, it's supposed to get hot again next week. So
I know, and I'm not happy. I hate August.
Me too.
I really dislike immensely August.
For the listeners, Sarah's from Eugene, Oregon, and then we've got Denise out in Portland, so they're commiserating over the weather together, and then I'm just sitting here going triple digits. Yeah, they suck. Let's go.
But at least last week it was very low humidity. I mean, it was 20%. We were like in the desert, you know?
After the rain the other day, I walked out and I was like, what am I, in Florida? Like, this is ridiculous.
Like, did I just get out of the shower?
Yes. Yeah. All right, Sarah. So how many patterns have you published to date? I know you've got several that are available.
I think I'm in definitely over the 50s.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh yeah, she's got a lot of patterns too. Like,
that's exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah, she's got a lot of patterns. She's got a lot of really pretty stuff. So there's lots of options, and there's like garments and accessories,
garments,
and
shawls. Yeah, some house items. Got a dishcloth somewhere in there.
Bucket in
Everybody
there,
has a dishcloth.
Yeah, I think you got like a bucket or something, and some hats, and because I did that hat too, the ivy trellis one that I absolutely love that hat. Like, yes, she started teasing this hat, y'all, and it's the when you scroll my Instagram, it's the one with the silver hat that I have pulled down, and I'm sticking my tongue out because I love that hat. And that was one of my outtakes. It ended up being one of my hysterically favorite outtakes.
Most of my hats, especially my newer ones, are size inclusive too. So I grade from baby up to large adult.
Yep, I remember that.
That's a good.
So she's got a lot of inclusive stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind
especially
of
for hats.
Yes.
A lot of people don't think about that, but not everybody's head is the same size.
Exactly.
We have really large heads in our family to carry all these brains, but
I mean, look, y'all do everything, so you got to have the gray matter to go with it,
right? So, but the size inclusive, because I always just had to adjust it myself. But if there's decreasing or a pattern or a stitch, really fancy lace or something, I was lost. So, very good to do it that way. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Denise loves this question. So where did your handle come from?
Yeah, it's my favorite.
My handle came from.
So hold on, your handle is No Hooks Given.
Yeah.
Just for everybody, just to remind everybody. Okay, now you can.
So before I started Instagram and really put a name to my business, I was just crocheting. I was talking with my friend, and she was the one really pushing me to start Instagram. Like, she was texting me, "Hey, did you start an Instagram yet?" "No." "Did you start one yet?" "No." So I finally started one, and we talked about how, because I had it just as like Sarah Larrieu, so there was no name for it. And we were talking, and we were starting to really care about what to name it. So she made the joke about, well, there's no F's given, so we changed it to No Hooks Given. So
I love it. I wondered if it was a spinoff like that. I love that.
A spinoff.
That's adorable.
With my best friend, and she really
love
did
it.
not only push me to start my Instagram, but she really did help name my business. So,
well, good for her.
I love it. That's great.
That was sweet of her to do that.
And I love supportive friends like that too. Like the ones who keep pushing you to get outside your comfort zone. Like,
yes.
Like having
Tiffany.
those people is amazing.
Yeah. So.
All right, your turn, Misty.
Yes. Well, so Sarah, do tell us. This is an interesting question. We get a lot of the same answers, which is kind of it always just surprises me. Do you?
And then we get some unique answers too.
Yeah. Do you crochet other people's designs?
Yes.
Oh, see, she's the exception.
I
Look.
I buy a lot of crochet designs and make them
Why
all
do you
the
do
time.
that? Or what? Since you do, tell us why you would do that. Because a lot
Um
of people, the answer is no. I only have time to do my own.
oh, well, one, I have a lot of friends that that I've made friends with that design, and
Mhm.
I want to support them,
Oh, that's good.
especially when I see them buy stuff for me. They'll buy my palms, or maybe they'll buy one of my patterns, and I want to show them that I appreciate not only them, but the hard work that they put into their patterns too,
Right?
especially if it's something that they put a lot of thought into, like overalls, or dress,
Yeah.
or like, yeah, I could make that, but I could also follow their pattern. I don't need to design like every idea. I think I've
Oh,
gotten
well,
more focused on what
true.
I want to make, but there's really gorgeous
Excellent.
designs that come out from people in our community, and yeah, I rather support them than make something similar or different to put myself out there.
I
I
like that
love that.
answer.
That's
Yeah.
such a great answer. I love that.
Oh,
Perfect.
thank you.
I love seeing everybody's reasons why they do other people's patterns. So I'm gonna tag on the back of that one. Do you obviously knit other people's patterns? I'm assuming.
Yes, I buy knitting patterns all the time, especially if they're cute, or I'll follow along, see if, like, you know, they have a sale, and then I buy a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, look,
That's why they do
collecting
that.
patterns, collecting yarn, and actually stitching the yarn
Are
and the patterns are three different hobbies. Let's be
different
very clear.
hobbies.
Yes,
They're
Yes.
very different hobbies. So
I
yeah,
I love buying patterns.
Me too.
Yeah,
I'm a pattern holic.
yes,
yeah, 100%. So
Horrible.
okay, I just wanted to check, because I figured you did, but
I do.
have you gotten into that creative niche with the knitting where you start freeforming yet, or no?
No, I've done a few patterns.
I think
Uh,
for me, it's harder to freeform the knitting than it is the
I
crochet.
think so too. And I've been doing both for over 50 years. So yeah, I agree.
yeah, I like to keep my knitting simple too. It's definitely, I think, become more of like my hobby.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I like that, yeah, because your crochet is your business, and so your knitting is your hobby. That makes
Yeah.
That
sense.
does make a lot of sense. Yeah.
So
That
that's
makes
why
a
I
lot
buy
of
a lot
sense.
of knit patterns, especially
You're,
hat patterns. Oh, they're so fun.
yeah, you're so
I haven't
smart.
tried a knit hat yet. I need to do that.
Oh,
I love
girls,
it.
if
It's
you ever want to try stranded color work, and I don't know, I cannot remember who did this one, but you got to look it up on Ravelry. It's called the Alaska hat pattern, and
An
there's
Alaska hat
never any more than
pattern.
2 or 3 colors in it. And the stranding technique that I use is something that you can hardly find the video on anymore. I can't even remember the name of it right now, but I'll put that in our notes too. But it's the coolest hat, and it's done on size 4 needles, I think, fingering yarn, but it makes
Okay.
this landscape, and in the background it looks like a sunset or a sunrise or a stream or something, and
Mm,
then there's mountains, or not mountains, trees. I
mm.
want mountains in it, because where we live, but
Let me look.
it is, I
All right.
love that hat pattern. So
I'm gonna have to
that's
try
my
that.
go-to last year.
nice.
I'm gonna have to. I want to kind of try a bulky hat, a bulky knit hat. So
There's so
They're
many
fun.
out there. They
hmm
are, yeah,
are
and
they? I'm gonna
fast,
have to
the
try
bulky
Yeah.
them.
ones.
And the
I,
circular needles, you join as you go, and you just keep
And you just
going in the
go,
round.
yeah, I've got the Cirques. I live on the Cirques, so that part's easy. So yeah, I'll have
knit,
to.
knit, 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 knit.
I like the fact that you're actually more of a hat person than a sock person, because everybody I talk to is like, knit socks, they're great, they're so easy, and blah blah blah. And I have a heel over here that I've got like an inch on because I haven't made it past that, and I'm just like,
Oh, and I need to
no,
apologize for not sending you that pattern, but I will, Tiffany. I swear to you,
it's
I will
fine.
write
We've
that
still
down.
got time. We've
Yeah,
got that. We've got that for
right.
our next thing for our techniques. So,
So one more
anyways,
question for me. This is interesting too. The different responses have been just everywhere. Okay, and I love this. but what is it that inspires your designs? Is it something you see, something you smell, something a show you watched, another garment you saw?
Um, Something you're going for.
It comes down to like two things for me is like what am I going for, and then stitches. I get
Oh.
inspired by stitches. Like I'll look at a stitch and it'll speak to me what it wants to be made into. Like
Oh, I like that.
Like
this,
yarn tells you it doesn't want to be something or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
the stitches. They'll speak to me like I want to be made into a hat, or I want to be made into a sweater. And then I want to play off like another stitch too. So and then
How cool is that?
I'll look at the yarn or the fiber after that to figure out like, okay, so this stitch, really needs like maybe like applied yarn or
Mm-hmm.
um, a tonal so that the
Mm-hmm.
texture can jump out. So, but every now and then I'll have like some yarn where I'm like, I want to do something with this, but
Something specific with this, yeah.
definitely the
So
stitches speak to me. Like,
that's
yeah.
where do you get your stitch ideas? Do you have a lot of stitch dictionaries in your
I
library?
I do. I just actually got another one. I went to this new crochet shop up in Hillsboro, Green
Oh
Shoes
yeah.
Crochet,
Mm-hmm.
and I found a new stitch book there and I was excited. So definitely
I
when
mean,
I
look,
opened that,
stitch
I
dictionaries are always great.
Wonder how close it is to my doctor's office.
she has some
So say
really cute stuff over there. Lots of books and a lot
Mhm.
of like local newer books in there too. So I know I'm gonna have to go back up there and get another book. So one other thing like with books, like or making from other makers, to go back to that question real fast. I suck at making dolls or like little figures,
Mm-hmm.
and I need to follow a pattern to be able to make one, because if I don't,
100%.
it will
Mm.
look
The
terrible.
Rumagumis and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Amis are hard, man. Like some people
Oh.
can just freeform them left and right, and then I can't.
I
I'm
used
not
to have
one
a
of those.
turtle sitting here with a necklace on. It looks like a typical Portland hippie kind of thing, going on. But it doesn't have a shell yet because I got frustrated with the shell part.
Oh,
That's funny.
to go back to the design process though, yeah, the
Sure.
stitches really speak to me, because the second thing after that is not just the texture, but you got the math count. So you got, um, like, okay, it's
Being able to grade it, yeah.
yes, is it workable in the round, and like how so? Like, do I need to turn it or work flat? So I really love that, because if I want to make a sweater, but I want to have a texture, I have to look and start seeing it and then sketch it and grade it. I grade first before I do um,
Interesting.
any sweaters now. So
For our listeners out there, if you can remember at all any certain garment that you designed like that a stitch inspired you, can you walk us through your first couple of minutes or hours or days of your process?
absolutely. So we'll go off my last top design, which was the Flirty V. The stitches definitely inspired the top first. I saw that and was like, I knew I wanted to make a top, but when I saw that, I was like, oh, that'd be really cool as
What stitch
this.
was it?
Uh,
Do you remember?
it's kind of petal stitch. Petal
Okay.
had a petal
Yeah, I
name.
was gonna say I was trying to remember the specific name. It's a petal. It's a petal with a chain in the middle, isn't it? If I
Mhm.
remember right.
Yeah, and it's
Oh.
really pretty. It's super easy too. I made a video of it on my YouTube
Very
channel.
It looks really scary, but it's actually really not.
It's a 2-row repeat, so it's super easy. Like that's it.
I like
Just 2-row repeat. And so once I knew I wanted to do that, I got my design and I saw the equivalent of the petal stitch. It's double crochet stitches, so I knew that the body would be kept simple, so it wasn't too intimidating. And then after that point, then I started working, what kind of neckline I wanted. I wanted a V-neck. I wanted something very summery, very light, it's but flirty as well. So we got the Flirty V. And then I started going right on the math for my size. So I start grading my size first, which is usually like the size large, which is nice because it's kind of in
I was
between.
gonna say that's kind of the middle point, so that's not a bad place to start at all.
In between.
Really
Yeah.
not. And then once I start, finish grading, and I'm like, okay, then I start grading the other sizes, and I'll start working my size while I'm grading the other ones.
Mm.
So I can see if it's actually going to work and look right across all the sizes, like in my head, it's a vision, as well as like following Craft Council, Craft Yarn Council measurement standards.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I get done with the entire top grading, then I finish working my sample. Sometimes I will start writing up the pattern before I fully finished the sample that I'm making, just so if I know it's working well, then I can, call the testers or get that feeling out there that I'm doing that, because, especially if I was working on a deadline to get it out by the season, you can write it up first and start getting, some photos of it halfway done.
Yeah, creative photography works, man.
Yes.
This is the neckline. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and that if that's if that's the focal point, then yeah, that's what you need. But
Sure.
so I'm curious, do you do math on Excel or do you do math by paper?
Excel.
Okay.
Definitely Excel.
Yeah, I'm an
It's
Excel person too.
way
Me.
easier.
I love the math, but I'm an Excel person too. Like I would much rather rely on the computer to grade it or to do the math than me trying to carry it out. And
Yeah,
we have room for error.
I'll have like rows set up too, so I can make sure where the increases are happening as well too, so I know how it's all set up for each size, so I can write it like, okay, well, round 18 is the increase round.
I like it.
Oh.
Yeah, because all of your stuff, you keep it pretty similar all the way through as far as like increases in the same spots and that kind of thing.
And I'll
I
have
wondered how you came up with the design because I did your, what was it, your Tranquil Waves crop. So like, and I loved the play on the stitches together with the cross and then the single, or what was it, a cross double and then the single to play off of it or something like
yes.
that. Yeah, and then you carry that through a cowl.
Yes.
Cowl and something else, right? I don't remember.
I think it's just the
Is it just the cowl?
It might be.
I know there's a crop and a cowl, but that taught you it's. I remember that was one of my like first 5 or 6 pattern tests, and it scared the crap out of me. But I did it because I love the texture of the stitches, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get outside of my comfort zone on this one, and I still wear that top all the time. Like I travel in it all the time. I wear it to work. Like it's great. I love that top. So.
Thank you.
So your process starts with the stitches. I love to hear that. I hadn't heard that before. Yeah,
Do you have a favorite book? Like, do you have one that would be either a good starting point for anybody wanting a stitch dictionary, or do you just have an absolute favorite?
I can go run and get them.
Oh, so do you have, just to back up a minute, because you said you like the stitch dictionaries, do you have a favorite one or one that you would highly recommend to our listeners so that, if anybody either wants one or wants an inclusive one or both? Because let me tell you, my shelves are pretty bare and I would love another one. Not gonna lie, because I love me some books.
My favorite book that I would recommend for anyone that is an aspiring designer or loves to just make their own patterns, even if it's not for it, is Crochet Every Way Stitch Dictionary by that one is my favorite book because it not only has like a whole bunch of stitches in there, but it teaches you how to do the increases. So some of the stitches will teach you how to do increase and
Yeah.
decrease along the side, but then they even have some, so if you wanted to do like a raglan like top.
That's a
That's really
good
cool,
thing. Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite book for designers, but one of my go-to as well for some fun stitches, but also if you like Tunisian crochet, it does have some Tunisian stitches in here. Like 7 is the step-by-step guide to 200 crochet stitches. That one's a pretty good one too, by Tracy Todd Hunter. And
Sounds like that one needs to come and join my bookshelf.
Yeah, I've never heard of either one of these, and I've been crocheting my whole life, basically.
And I just got a new one. This is that one I said from Green Trees Crochet. This one is the Indispensable Stitch Collection for crocheters. Has
Oh, that's
also
the new one. Mm-hmm.
Yes, has like 200 stitches in here. And I see some new ones that I've never seen before, which is one reason when I was going through, I was like, okay, I think I need to get this book.
What was it called again? The indispensable what?
Indispensable Stitch Collection for crocheters.
Stitch collection.
Yes. But one way that, I also see myself making designs is, like I said, the stitches, because let's say, you originally thought of an idea, but once you started working the stitch, you realize, no, maybe it just didn't work for your vision. So I'll make notes for like that stitch. Like I see this one as like a really cute market bag, or something else, and I'll draw on it and I'll come back to it and see if I want to do that as a design. And especially as I've figured out,
element,
yeah, or what
So
I
that
want
last one
to
is the one you
design.
got up here in Hillsboro, right?
Yes. Yes.
Cool.
The
Don't worry, y'all. We're gonna have links for all of it. We'll have. I'm gonna put up Goodreads links. That way, they're not affiliated with any specific website. I'm sorry, I'm hitting my mic, y'all. I had a scratch on my shoulder. We will have links for all of these. That way, you can, or out of Goodreads, so that you can buy them from your preferred purchasing point or your local yarn store. I highly recommend going to the local yarn store because you know me, I love shopping the local stuff. But
yes,
do you.
And I did.
I'm not going to judge you one way or the other because sometimes you just need to be able to have it shipped to the house.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I did rave to Jennifer in the Green Trees Crochet in Hillsboro about this book already, so she does have the Crochet Every Way.
The Crochet Every Way Stitch Dictionary.
Well.
I really like the way, I like the fact that you said that it'll help you figure out the increases and the decreases.
Yes, especially
so that's
that.
a really great thing. So
yes.
All right, so marking these as to which they are.
Because none of the other books really teach you how to increase or decrease with it, so you have to.
No, they just say here's the stitch and good luck,
And
have fun.
Yeah.
And it's flat. It's a sampler flat.
Yeah. So she really,
that.
really came out. Her name is Dora Orenstein. But yeah, it's an amazing book.
Interesting.
I think I'm going shopping. We know me. I love my books. And as an editor, I feel like I can never have enough resources like this because people ask me, they're like, hey, is this pattern, does this stitch exist? Or am I creating a new stitch? Or what's it really called? Like I've seen it before, but I don't know the name of it. And
here's what I've always called it, but it's really called that? No.
But it's really called that, exactly. And what you found your flirty V stitch. What was it? It was the petal
web.
The petal web, that's what it was. The petal web stitch.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I love that.
And it's in Dora's book, so that's how, once I saw the how to increase, on it.
Because then it made sense, right?
Yes.
I do love the fact that it will tell you how to increase and decrease. So designers, that's a really good thing because that's hard sometimes, like trying to figure out, especially if it's a stitch set where it's like 6 stitches, together, and you're like, how do I break that apart? Like that's kind of hard.
Why would you need to reinvent the wheel if somebody has already written it down somewhere?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Make your life easier.
Use the resources. Exactly. Efficiently lazy. We know that is my favorite thing. Efficiently lazy. So, all right. So, have you ever felt like designing wasn't worth it, or maybe that you should quit?
I have felt that just in this last year. I felt that pretty hard. And I kind of took a step back. I haven't released a design in a while, but I've been doing more meaningful designs in my
And
opinion as well.
I think that's a line that
That's
everybody
fair.
comes to at some point in time where
Mhm.
they go, and it's not to they get into that creative run where they just put out so many designs and then you're just kind of like, okay, I'm done. Like I'm burnt out. I keep doing this. And then you find that niche where you're like, okay, let's do what I want. Let's do because you've done more collabs with your local you did what, your local yarn
Yes, I was the mystery crochet along designer for the RCYC, so the Rose City Yarn Crawl,
yes, that's what
for
it was, the yarn crawl.
Yay! From up
earlier this
here.
year. Yes, and that
Hmm.
was like a big commitment for me, so I was giving that all my attention,
Sure.
um, and because there was lots of helping. I had to be the helper for in the Ravelry groups
Hmm.
that
It's
was
a
happening as
big
well as
deal. Let me tell you, the Rose City Yarn
yes,
Crawl.
Look, she told me when she
It's
got accepted for
big
it
deal.
last year, and I blew up so excited for her because that
Big,
came out in the
huge
middle.
deal.
That was part of why I was helping out was because it got like, oh my gosh, I got everything. Like I now what do I do? I
yeah.
remember that I was so pumped for you.
Thank you.
So, and that just completed what, like 2 months ago? Like it actually came out.
March of earlier
Okay,
this
so
year. So it's been a few months.
in the middle of my fall off the
Yes.
world, fall off Instagram world. But I do remember seeing it start, and then like I fell off shortly thereafter. So yeah.
And I do
You're a
have like
forgiver.
a design I'm working on right now. I can't say anything really more because it is a secret collab one, but it is another local um, pattern. So that's really
Cool.
exciting. But yeah, I just
I love
you
the
know I
local
I'm
stuff. I
glad you're
really do.
finding stuff that fulfills you. That's a good thing.
yes,
Hmm.
we had a lot of bigger things happening in this last year, and it was important to step back, and I wanted to be a little more community based as well.
Hmm.
But I do know that when I do pick up some more designs again, that I already have the ideas because I've been, writing
Hmm.
down or drawing, which I do. And I have a few that I've been making for markets that I'm like, wow, I really need to put a design in this. But I think it's, don't be too hard on yourself. If you want to take a break or if you want to learn and fulfill a
Yeah.
few more things, because that's the whole process of the designing process as
And
designers.
to add to that,
It's almost cyclical.
it's not. It's the same. I'm very sure it's probably more true with designers, but I find it true for myself as a test knitter and as a maker. There
Yeah,
are
as a
days that I
maker,
just want to garter, stitch, stitch. That's all I want to ever do and watch TV. I
I
don't
have a
want to have to.
habitation throw sitting in my bag just for
Yes.
that reason. When I just need
Yeah.
to stitch. Like I don't need to think about it. I don't
Yep.
need to stitch. That's my habitation throw is my go-to for
I'm
that. So
doing
yeah.
Stephen West's painted bricks because it's just one of those things. It's 4 rows of this and 4 rows of that, and then you're done. It's 4 rows of the next, and it's just not necessarily mindless. It's interesting enough to keep you interested, but a maker needs that same break too. So I think a
I just love the
designer
rhythm.
who
Yeah.
has them all over the map, not just all intricate lace, difficult things, but maybe has some easy things too, is a winner in my book. A really good thing.
Yes.
That's one thing that I loved about the Flirty V was it had all that interesting stuff at the top,
Yeah.
and then once you split, you were
Yeah.
done, and it was all double crochet, and you could veg out of the rest of it.
It was comforting.
So
I
it
like
really
vegging.
is. It's like that happy meld between let me just be and okay, I really need to engage my brain.
Yep.
So
Yep. I totally
yeah,
understand.
I'm glad you took that step back from
Hmm.
designing to be able to find yourself and then find that what you really wanted in this
Super
journey. So
important.
that's a
Super
good thing.
important.
Yes.
Especially
It
for
really is.
especially for a creator. If you don't have that inside you, if you haven't fed that mindful part of yourself or local community or something you're interested in, you aren't going to create as well, I don't think.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it gets me feeling more passionate about wanting to do designs again. And I think another
Exactly.
thing that,
Good.
that's not talked about is the social aspect of designing too. You have to be, uh, talk a lot to one, your testers, but
Mm.
also just people reaching out for help. And especially if a pattern goes really well, it can be with a lot of people to talk to with on top of all the test groups. That was one
These
reason I
crazy
brought.
podcast people.
And so thankful.
The podcast people and the makers who just can't read the notes section.
I was thankful for Tiffany when she was willing to come on as a group moderator, because I wanted to feel like I'm able to give all of my attention to the testnet groups, and I don't, but there's some times where you have to step away. So I thought it was really nice to have someone in, because those test groups can get a lot, especially as if you're doing a size inclusive design. And I love getting 3 to 4 testers per size.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I think one time I did 5 just because they just were all so amazing. And I couldn't believe that they applied, and I was like, oh my God. So it gets up to I think 23 to 27 people in a group test. And that's a lot for one person, especially if you have 3 of those going on at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah, because we had two of your patterns going at the same time, and then you had that secret project that you were running. So you did have 3. But
And Sarah, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because Tiffany discussed this in a former podcast. I don't remember which one it was. Yeah, she talked about moderating groups for people. If you don't want to be a designer, maybe you could be kind of that in-between person, and it really sounds like a good idea for a lot of our listeners out there who might not have the design bug, but want to maybe take it a step further than just being a maker. It's an excellent idea.
It could be good if you are friends with someone that does editing that wants to offer, or maybe even one of your friends that is well endowed in your patterns and knows how that you grade them and stuff, that you trust, obviously, to send the pattern to.
Somebody who knows you well enough to be able to help explain your detailing. I think that's something that people need to definitely consider if they're going to do this. It needs to be a pattern that, or a designer. Sorry, my words today, they're just out in left field.
No problem.
Y'all should be used to my words being in left field at this point.
I'm totally used to it.
You and I always compare where they go, and
my brain just substitutes what's supposed to be there.
Look.
I tested a few patterns more this year too, because when you design patterns, it's hard to be able to test patterns. So I did test a few more patterns this year.
Good.
And that was really nice. The shawl that I did, I'm gonna have to look it up. From Fuzzy Whatnots, I tested
I love Teresa. She's so sweet. She's such a cool being. I love her dad jokes that she puts on her grid too. Her stuff is so much fun.
I bought when I did the Rose City Yarn Crawl this year, and I was doing that, I bought a mini skein kit from one of my friends that was the yarn dyer at one of the shops, Teal Torch Nets. She makes really cute minis, so I knew that I wanted to when I tested that pattern, that I wanted to use some yarn. And yeah, Teresa makes some really gorgeous yarn. I keep scrolling.
Yeah, she does. So for just to, while you're looking that up, for what I was saying is, if you want to moderate, just for our listeners, if anybody wants to get into moderation, make sure it's a designer that you know well, so that you can help with the nuances of the pattern. Because it's back when Ro and we did the interview with Ro, and we talked in her interview, where I was like, well, it makes sense to me because I know you, and sometimes the makers weren't understanding it. So you need to make sure that you know the maker or the designer to be able to help explain it.
Same thing happened with Lisa when I tested for her. It was I know what you're saying, Lisa, but I don't know if everybody else is going to. Yeah,
exactly. And that's the thing, and you need to make sure that it's, somebody that you or as an editor, it's something, a pattern you've already worked on or something. So
excellent.
Anyways,
okay.
It was the Rainbow's Connection shawl. I absolutely loved that pattern test.
That sounds like something right up her alley. So yeah, I can see that being a thing.
Okay, Tiff, you got one more question.
Go for it. I know it's mine. I'm coming. I'm out in left field.
She does everything. I couldn't keep it straight.
All right, Sarah. So now it's time to boast on the Etsy shop. So what you got in there? Because I know I love browsing through there on a regular. I've got it saved as one of my favorites, and I love seeing stuff pop up, and I go browsing.
I have my Etsy shop. I actually want to talk about my website, because I launched my website like this year that
Hey,
you can
You have a
shop
website
from.
now. Ah, okay.
Yes, because
Let's go with the
before I
website.
had a blog, but now I traded it in because I like selling my patterns more. I put a lot of work into them. I will be
sure.
putting on a few of patterns on my website because I do have a blog section on there, but I started fresh. So I have my brand new website, which has so much more pom poms. Now I have like almost 40 colors on my website because I have specialty colors on there that aren't listed on my Etsy shop.
Oh,
I have all my
Y'all,
same
her stuff is amazing. I'm just telling you.
leather projects, and I also have some finished items as well on there that I crochet because I do markets as well. But I don't have any of my patterns listed on there, so the same as always, my Ravelry shop or my Etsy shop. But if you're
mm,
looking for any faux fur pom poms, which I do like 4 inch to 6 inch,
mm,
and then I have regular yarn ties, cord ties, and snaps because people love the snaps option too. I know that
definitely.
I do have a scarf design on the mine because I want to do snap put pom poms on them. That would be really cool. But
Cool.
yeah, I'm really excited to launch my website.
How long
Um,
ago did you launch that?
I want to say I think I made the full transition about April earlier this year.
Oh, so it's
Um,
new, new,
it's
new.
new, yes,
Yeah,
maybe March.
right.
Yes, I
Super
finalized
exciting.
that. Yes, and it's exciting,
Love
and
that for you.
it's it's super easy to remember. It's just
Hmm.
nohooksgiven.com. I own my domain, so
Yep,
Yay, domains.
I'm very familiar with it.
1,500 emails and all the things.
Hmm.
yes.
I'm a
But
geek.
that's where I'll be doing all of my sales as well. So if I do a birthday sale or like a fall stock sale or anything like that, it'll be on my website rather than my Etsy shop. All
Are
the
you gonna?
same goodies on the Etsy shop, but
Mhm.
just a little more, as well as I actually offer a bulk coupon too. So you can get
Mm,
25% off a order of 125 more on my website.
cool.
I
That's a
like
big
it.
deal.
Yes.
That is a
So,
big deal.
are you gonna transition your any of your videos over to your website? Because they have. I don't know who you're with, what platform, but the platform I use has some excellent video stuff.
I'm on YouTube right now,
Oh, okay,
just for my videos so that they're
okay.
pretty
So you haven't.
well.
Okay.
Searchable.
Can
Yes,
you link them?
yes,
Okay.
I can, which I'm
Okay.
excited to keep working on all the
Yay.
details of the website.
Yeah, yeah.
It's way more work than
It's a big hole, I'm telling
It
you.
really is a lot more work than anybody
It is
realizes.
a big hole. Oh my gosh.
I sat there when I started my website, I was just like, oh, I can totally knock this out. And then I was
Mm,
like, what did I get myself into?
yeah.
Because this is ridiculous.
I even have a 27-year-old tech, like techie guy, my son, living with me, and he's just all like, "Mom, what are you doing?" you know, I have to
and I
do this.
the website's all like broken up into sections too, so it's like super easy to shop of. I got ready to ship pom poms, made to order packs.
User friendly. I love
Yes,
that.
and there's a maker gift section too where I have like leather bags that are handmade locally from one
Y'all,
of my.
the leather stuff is just
I
so
saw
gorgeous.
one of them,
Like,
and it's my color,
Thank
girl.
I
you.
Oh,
freaked out when she
Yes.
started doing the leather stuff.
oh,
And he went
Love
full
it.
time too, so we're definitely gonna have some more collections dropped for
Yay!
the
that's
shopping
exciting.
holiday season. You know, everyone
Yes,
loves
coming
shopping
up.
during that.
Yeah, that's going to be
Yes.
before much longer because
Yeah.
somebody told me however many days it was until Christmas the other day, and I was like, why do you have to say mean things like that to me? And they were
Yeah.
like, what do you mean? And I was like, I have no Christmas money yet. Like,
It's
that's
already in
the next.
stores,
That's.
girl. My,
I
my,
love Christmas and everything, but God bless it.
I know.
Like,
It's
I
just
feel broke every time I look at the stuff
July
in the
is just way
store.
too early to put Santa Claus in an aisle. I'm sorry. It's just
I mean, Santa Claus in a hot tub could be entertaining, but yeah,
right.
I'm not far behind. So,
Okay.
all right, Miss D, back to you.
So this is so exciting to listen to your journey, to your process and everything.
Thank you.
But and you hinted a little bit at this, but what is waiting in the wings? Do you have how many next project designs do you have on the boards?
So I have a secret project that will be releasing next year.
Oh.
I do have a hat pattern that I've been working on for a while. It'll be a new size inclusive worsted weight top down hat pattern. I've had it half written up, and I am ready to get it out there, especially with the fall season.
Yeah.
Yay.
Perfect.
And one of my goals is to bring in wholesale yarn onto my website to put like together some kits with the palms to go towards some of the hat patterns. And I
good idea.
I am signed up for one of my friends' blog hops because I do love supporting, like I said, designer friends.
Yay, blog hops. Those are so much fun.
But mine will be obviously like a purchase pattern, but I will have a coupon code because I'm going to do a scarf to do with the palms on the end. So
I love that. That is
That'll
so
be
cool.
so much fun.
and that's kind of really it. I'm kind of keeping it simple this year with designs. But I know I do have definitely a few garments that I want to work on for next year.
So that's in the wings. I'm glad to hear it. One more thing that we love to ask designers, because everybody has a secret ingredient basically, and it's good to listen to a lot of different ones to see which ones fit you. You want to try them on, see if they fit, right? But tell us, do you have any advice, like little secret things maybe, or advice for budding designers?
I would have to say, obviously, number one, stitch books and practice your stitches so you feel confident when you're implementing them in the design. Obviously, for new designers, simplicity is key, but everyone loves the details. So,
Yeah,
the details really make a difference.
the devil's in the details.
It really is. The devil in the details, exactly.
I'd have to say as well, Tiffany got me on board with it, but using Google Docs for your pattern tests. That way you don't have to send out like 5 to 20 copies of the pattern so they get updated. It just updates automatically. And
Tiffany, you are a trailblazer woman. You need to write your own book.
Look, so when I tested for her the first time, it was PDFs, and we'd get a new PDF every time there was an update.
That's what I get.
And I finally got her, I finally think I bugged her a couple of times, and I was like, you really should try Google Docs. And I've got a whole post on it on my it was one of my Tech Edit Tuesday things of y'all really should be using Google Docs.
Hey, you know what? Maybe that's one of the tool talk things we need to have here pretty soon.
I did a pattern test earlier this year, and she was still doing the PDF way, and I was like, you need to do Google Docs, because even how I edited her pattern was I copied it, put it in a Google Docs, and I put all the edits in there for her to see, instead of just listing them, because it's also easier to get feedback.
It's so much easier to just throw a note up there where it actually is the error or the thing that you want to talk about, because the flag draws your eye and it puts it right where the problem is, rather than
never
going
done that.
page 4, line 6, fifth word in.
Wow.
Google Docs really is it's Google Docs is Word on collaboration mode, basically.
Yes. And
well, no, not steroids, because it's really not hard to use, and it's a simplified version of Word, but the collaboration portion is on point.
The SharePoint.
Like,
that's the other thing. When you're doing a survey to like get people to apply, Google
Forms.
Yep. It's way better. It's not going to charge you like Survey Monkey. That's like a site that you can use.
We did have a conversation about that, didn't we?
Got a real hate for that. I was like, I'm not going to pay you.
No, like, okay, so back
money to get the
so the reason we're laughing, I'll start the story and you can finish it, is she and I had a conversation for the Flirty V, because I was just freaking out as a maker. I was like, oh my god, I can't wait till this comes out, and oh my god, how's the testing going, because that's who I am. And she's like, well, I'm still trying to pick testers, but it capped me at X amount of users. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? She's like, yeah, the form I was using capped me. So she had to go back and
Tiffany went, oh, no, they didn't. No.
Oh, yeah. I was like, nah, like, we're not playing that game. And I think that's when I introduced you to Google Forms, too, or you found a different platform. I don't remember which.
Google Forms. It's so easy. So Excel, Stitch Books, Google Docs, Google Forms, and it will make testing right there super easy. As well as, I know you can do like Discord or Instagram messaging, but just having a messaging platform where you
Mhm.
can stick all your testers to communicate is
Yes.
really helpful too. It also helps with the momentum with testers as well, especially if it's a long test, like an 8 to 10 week test for a garment, which is like a standard
Yeah.
saying. But you when you have that such long of a test and you have a way for people to send in progress photos, it helps the momentum for
Oh, I
everyone
bet.
else in the group,
To see
especially
it.
if
Yeah.
you never know what maybe mind battle they're having right then and there. Maybe they're down on themselves for not being that far along. You can have that in there as well. But I also think a guideline for people to have on where they should be in the pattern is also helpful too.
Oh, yes.
Especially with long patterns. I think a lot of times long patterns, I tell people they need to be done with a certain part by the time because,
Yeah.
when you're doing like a top down sweater, people don't realize it, but the yoke is so many stitches.
Ugh,
Like,
I know.
depending on the yarn,
So
it
you
could
split
be.
for that sleeve. That's ridiculous. And
Mhm.
that's usually where my
Mhm.
timeline would always get screwed up because I would always forget about those extra 100 and whatever
Yeah,
stitches
at least. Yeah.
whenever I would split. Because I'd be like, oh, I could totally do this. The body's only like 300 stitches. No big deal. And
So you
I'd
forgot the
forget that the
500 and whatever on top of it.
yeah, I'd forget about
Mhm.
the pre-split number.
Yeah.
If I can get my mouth to work today, it would be
Well, they do
fantastic.
say, how do you eat an elephant, one bite at a time, because, and it's a really good idea to give intervals like that. Like, okay, at this week, into this week, it would be good to be somewhere near this area,
Yeah, and
Hmm.
and check in with people and just see
Mm-hmm.
how they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I like having the guidelines because
Mm-hmm.
procrastinators like me, we have a tendency to
Yeah.
fall off the wagon sometimes, and then we go, oh crap, and having
I
that
have to do
guideline
800 rows by tomorrow. No.
Yeah.
by tomorrow at 8 a.m. Oh God, it's 5 p.m. Let's go. So yeah,
Yeah.
who needs sleep? We'll sleep when we're dead.
Right.
But
Exactly.
all right, so
That's
to
really
round it
good
out, Miss
advice.
Sarah, where can our listeners find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Facebook
The new
at /NoHooksGiven. You can find me on Etsy at NoHooksGiven, and my website is
new website.
nohooksgiven.com. So super easy. I'm also on Pinterest and YouTube on as I believe Sarah Larrieu /NoHooksGiven. But it's okay if you can't spell Larue. You can just find my Instagram, which has the link tree.
All the links on
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
and
Those
we
are
will
always-
have the links in the show notes for y'all, so you
Yes.
can find her beautiful palms and all the designs or the patterns and everything. And then, are you on a Ravelry too for our Ravelry
Yes,
listeners?
Sarah Larue on there, but I do have No Hooks Given tied in there too, so you can find me through either one.
Find all the things.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, this has been a fun chat. Thank you, and it's been very informative with all the book ideas and the new ways to look at things. So
Well, and I love the advice for the new designers too. That's so smart.
like I absolutely adore
Perfect.
that. So
Thank you.
100%. So, all right. Well, we are bringing this ride of the crazy train. We only had a couple bumps today.
Yeah.
Typically, as
So
usual,
far.
it's my talking that does the bumps. So, I'm glad everybody had their seatbelts on. You may now unfasten your seatbelts, return your tray tables to your upright positions, and enjoy your stitching, people.
Happy
Misty, you got
stitching.
anything?
Not at all. I just hope everybody enjoyed Sarah as much as I did and learned some things from her.
Definitely. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Sparkle Coordinator, I'll catch you later. Good night, Sarah. Thank
Catch
you
you
for
later,
all of
Tiffany.
your time, and we appreciate you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you, Sarah.
having me. Thank you so much.
All right, y'all be safe.
Come back next time when I get to join in and Tiffany and I talk gauge. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you listen, and join the conversation in our Ravelry or Facebook groups. For show notes or knit tech editing and related services, please visit my website at arcticedits.com. To inquire about crochet tech editing and other services Tiffany provides, please go to wootcrafts.com.